Gods and Semi-Devils. Author, Jin Yong. Chapter 1, Part F. Si Kongxuan is nevertheless still afraid of the Martin, and he kept on giving orders to his men. 20 of So clan members surrounded them, each with an herb in hand. They lit the herb and smoke started to fill the air. Duanyu just got up when he suddenly felt lightheaded and fell back down again. In a daze, he saw that Zhongling also fell down from the smoke. 2 clan members stepped forth to seize Zhongling, but the Martin, in protecting its master, bit both of them. Everyone stepped back in fear, still surrounding the 2 of them, but nobody dared to seize them. Si Kongxuan ordered, "Start burning Manly Yellow on the east side and Deer Musk on the south side. The others get out of the way." The clan members followed the orders and started to burn Manly Yellow and Deer Musk. There is not herb or poison that the Divine Farmer clan is not equipped with. Not only that, all they have are the best picks of the drugs. The pure Manly Yellow and Deer Musk they burned immediately let out a mace-like cloud of smoke. Carried by the southeasterly wind, the smoke slowly descended upon Zhongling. However, the Martin turned out to be immune to the smoke, still jumping back and forth among the clan members. Before anyone knew it, 5 more clan members had been bitten. Suddenly, an idea popped up in Si Kongxuan's mind. He ordered, "Start piling up dirt, let's bury this girl and her Martin alive." The clan members immediately started to dig up dirt and throwing it onto Zhongling's body. Duanyu thought to himself that he is the cause of all this trouble. How could he live on if Zhongling is going to die? So he summoned up all his strength and flipped on top of Zhongling's body. Holding her tight, he shouted, "We are dying together." The dirt kept on raining down on his head. The words "we are dying together" hit home with Si Kongxuan. He looked around, seeing 20 or so clan members rolling on the ground in pain. 7 or 8 of them are very important members of the clan, and 2 of them are actually his martial brothers. Although his anger would be vented if he killed the girl right now, all these people would probably die too. The Martin's poison is unlike anything he has ever seen before. He probably has to get the remedy from her in order to cure it. So he ordered, "Don't bury their heads, leave them alive." Soon, the 2 of them are buried up to their heads. Zhongling felt like an enormous weight has been placed on her body. And Duanyu has held onto her the entire time. Only their head is not covered by dirt, neither one of them could move an inch. Si Kongxuan asked, "Little girl, do you want to live or die?" Zhongling answered, "Of course I want to live. If you kill me and big brother Duan here, then a lot of you guys would die too." Si Kongxuan replied, "Good, then quickly hand over the cure for that Martin poison of yours, that way I'll let you live." Zhongling shook her head, "Not just my life, both of our lives." Si Kongxuan replied, "All right, I'll let both of you live. Where is the cure?" Zhongling answered, "I don't have it on me. Only my dad can cure lightning's poison. I told you earlier not to make me to use force, or else my dad would be mad at me and you wouldn't get anything good out of it either." Si Kongxuan replied angrily, "Still bullshitting at a time like this? See if I just leave you 2 here and let you 2 die of hunger." Zhongling replied, "Everything I have told you is true, why don't you believe me?" All in all, this whole matter is really troublesome. Probably won't be able to hide it from my dad. What do I do then? Si Kongxuan asked, "What's your dad's name?" Zhongling answered, "You are not a baby, how come you are so unreasonable? Like I can just go around telling everyone my dad's name." Si Kongxuan has been making a living in the martial world for decades now and has earned a name and some fame in the world. But today he has just about ran out of ideas regarding these 2 little kids. He bit down and ordered, "Bring me a torch. Let's light the little girl's hair on fire and see if she'll talk." A clan member handed over the torch. Si Kongxuan grabbed a hold of it and walked up to the 2 of them. In the light of the fire, Zhongling could not help but get scared by his hideous expression. She shouted out, Hey! Don't burn my hair. If the hair is on fire, then the head is going to hurt like crazy. If you don't believe me, then why don't you try it on your beard?" A hideous grin appeared on Si Kongxuan's face. "Of course it hurts, I don't need to burn my beard to know that." Holding up the torch, he gave it a shake right in front of Zhongling's face. Zhongling let out a little scream. Duanyu hugged her tightly and shouted, "Goat beard, I started this whole mess, why don't you burn my hair instead?" Zhongling shouted back, "No. It'll hurt you too." Si Kongxuan offered, "Well, if you are scared of getting hurt, then hand over the cure so I can start working on my brothers." Zhongling replied, "How dumb are you really? I have already told you, only my dad can cure lightning's poison, even my mom does not know how. My lightning is very rare, his bite is filled with strange and exotic poison. You think it's that easy to cure? Sikong Shuen can hear the people that have been bitten groaning all around him, so he knows that the poison is very strong. These men care very much for face, they wouldn't even mutter a sound even if a hand or a foot is broken or cut off. The medicine for snake venom has already been applied to every one of them. But from the continued groans, it is obvious that the clan's anti-venom that has always worked before is having no effect. Several people have tried to apply some medicines that work against scorpion, centipede, or spider poisons, but that has only increased the volume of their groans. Sikong Shuen stared down at Zhongling with rage and shouted, "Who is your old man? Tell me his name now." Zhongling asked, "You really want me to say it? Aren't you scared to find out?" This set Sikong Shuen off. He lifted up the torch and was just about to set Zhongling's hair on fire. All of a sudden he felt an incredible amount of pain coming from the back of his head. Something has bit him there. Shocked, Sikong Shuen immediately took a breath to protect his head and heart. He tossed the torch away and tried to grab whatever is on the back of his head. Suddenly the back of his hand was bitten as well. Turns out that the marten has dug its way out of the dirt and taken advantage of the fact that Sikong Shuen was distracted and attacked. After being bit twice in a row, Sikong Shuen is scared nearly out of his wits. Immediately he sat down and started to try to force the poison out using his inner force. The clan members were busily trying to cover the marten with dirt again, but this time the marten jumped up and bit two more men. A couple of more white flashes in the dark and the marten has jumped into the bushes and disappeared. Sikong Shuen's underlings hurriedly took out medicines and herbs that works against snake venom and started applying it to their master. Some of the medicines were taken orally along with a ginseng they had available. Sikong Shuen had to divide his strength against the two places where he was bitten, and soon it became obvious to him that he can't keep this up. Biting down hard, he grabbed the dagger around his waist with his left hand and cut off his right arm at the elbow. The clan members all trembled at the sight and scrambled to put some drugs that stops bleeding on the wound. But blood gushing out of the wound washed away the medicines as soon as they were applied. Eventually someone tore a piece of clothing off and tightly bandaged up Sikong Shuen's elbow, finally stopping the bleeding. After witnessing such a harrowing scene, Zhongling's face turned white as she stopped shouting. Sikong Shuen asked in a low voice, after being bitten by the devil marten, "How many days do you have?" Zhongling answered in a shaky voice, "My dad said up to 7 days, but since Master Sikong, your inner strength is so strong and is so good at Kung Fu. Maybe. I'm sure you'll live for longer than that." Sikong Shuen didn't reply. Instead he ordered, "Pull that guy out of there." The clan members pulled Duan Yu out of the dirt pile. Zhongling panicked, Hey! This has nothing to do with him. Don't hurt him." She tried to take advantage of the moment and struggle out of the dirt pile, but the clan members immediately filled the space left by Duan Yu with more dirt. Zhongling sees there is nothing more she can do, so she started crying. Duan Yu is quite scared himself, but he forced himself to calm down. Smiling, he said, "Miss Zhang, a true man faces death like it's nothing. Don't show any weaknesses in front of these bad people." Zhongling answered between sobs, "I'm not a man. I don't want to face your death like it's nothing. I want to show weakness." Sikong Shuen ordered in a heavy voice, "Give this fellow some intestine fragmenter, Duan Changsan. Give him the 7 days worth of dosage." A clan member poured out of a medicine bottle about half a bottle worth of red powder, and forced them into Duan Yu's mouth. Zhongling cried out, "That's poison, don't eat it." Duan Yu knew it was a very potent poison when he heard the words intestine fragmenter. But figuring that since he is in the hands of others, there is nothing he can do to refuse to take the poison. So he swallowed the powder, smacked his lips, smiled, and said, "Taste pretty sweet. Master Sikong, how about you eat the other half of the bottle?" Sikong Shuen just looked at him in anger. Zhongling let out a little laugh in the middle of a sob, and then went right on crying. Sikong Shuen said to Duan Yu, "This intestine fragmenter will break out after 7 days, splitting your intestines into inch-long pieces. Go and get the cure for the marten's poison. If you get back here in 7 days, then I'll give you the cure for it and let the girl go too." Zhongling cuts in, "Just the drug does not work. You have to have my dad use his unique inner strength to force the poison out." Sikong Shuen replied, Then he is just going to get your dad here to get you out. Zhang Ling replied, easy for you to say. Like my dad would leave the mountain, he wouldn't even take a step out of the valley. Si Kongxuan did not reply to her last comment. Duanyu offered, how about this? Why don't all of us go to Miss Zhang's home? Then you can ask your dad to cure the poison, wouldn't that be fast and effective? Zhang Ling replied, no. My dad has sworn that if someone takes one step in my family valley, no matter who it is, only death awaits him. Si Kongxuan thought to himself, the no-measure sword matter is not settled yet, can't leave this place. If I did, it's not like the Kid Elder of Heaven Mountain would let me live. I would only die a lot worse of a death. By now the itch and numbness from the marred and bite at the back of his head is getting worse and worse. He finally let out several groans of pain. Zhang Ling said, Master Si Kong, sorry about this. Si Kongxuan angrily replied, sorry my ass. Duanyu cuts in, he seems to have a habit of this, Master Si Kong, using such vulgar language toward Miss Zhang is not the conduct of a gentleman. Si Kongxuan angrily rebuked, your grandma wasn't one either. However, he thought to himself, when the life-death talisman in my body breaks out, the suffering is really unbearable. Better to die like this, at least it's straightforward and clear-cut. So he turned to Zhang Ling, I don't care about all the details, don't invite your dad for the cure is fine as well. We'll just all die together here. His words were filled with sadness and resignation. Zhang Ling thought about all this for a bit and said, let me out of here, and I'll write a letter to my dad asking him to come here and rescue you. And you send a person who is not afraid to die to deliver it. Si Kongxuan responded, I want this fellow named Wan to go, why send anyone else? Zhang Ling replied, man you got bad memory. If someone takes one step in my family valley, no matter whom it is, that someone will die. Didn't I already tell you about this? I don't want my big brother Duan to die, don't you know? Si Kongxuan answered, he can't die, then the people in my clan should? If he can't go then don't go, let's all die together. See which one of us dies first. Zhang Ling started to sob again, what kind of a person are you? Bullying a little girl like me? People in the martial world will all find out about this and they all say that Master Si Kong of Divine Farmer Clan has dragged his name through dirt and is not a real man. Si Kongxuan only sat there and worried about using his inner strength to combat the poison, completely ignoring her. Duanyu spoke up, then just let me go then. Miss Zhang, since I'm going to tell him the news and telling him to save you, I don't think he would do much harm to me. Zhang Ling's face suddenly lit up, I got it. Follow my plan. Don't tell my dad where I am, that way if he kills you, then he wouldn't know where I am. Just leave as soon as you lead him here, or else it would not be good. Duanyu nodded, this plan seems to work. Zhang Ling turned to Si Kongxuan, Master Si Kong, Big Brother Duan is going to leave as soon as he arrives. So how are you going to give the cure for intestine fragmenter? Si Kongxuan pointed to a huge rock far to the northwest, I'll instruct someone to wait there with the cure. When Mr. Duan gets to that rock, he'll get the cure. Since he wants Duanyu to go and save his life, his words became considerably more polite. So he ordered his men to dig Zhang Ling out, but first they handcuffed her hands and then dug out her lower body. Zhang Ling asked, if you don't take the cuffs off, how can I write a letter? Si Kongxuan replied, a weird girl like you, writing a letter probably would lead to more tricks. Just give Mr. Duan something on you that proves that his words are true and that would do. Zhang Ling laughed and said, I hate writing, so happy to hear that you don't want me to write. What do I have on me? Big Brother Duan, take the pair of shoes that I have on. My mom and dad will recognize those. Duanyu nodded and bent down to take off her shoes. As his left hand held her bare foot, feeling its fine skin and smoothness, his heart shook and he couldn't help but look up at her face. They smiled at each other. Under the firelight, he sees that there are still tears on her cheeks and yet her eyes are filled with happiness. He was spellbound. Si Kongxuan is getting a little impatient, so he shouted, go already. What are you two kids doing staring at each other? Brother Duan, get done with it already. When you get the person here, then of course I would let the girl go so she can be your wife. Then you'll have plenty of time to feel her foot. Duanyu and Zhang Ling both blushed like crazy. Duanyu hurriedly took of Zhang Ling's shoes and put them in his shirt. But he still can't refrain from taking another look at Zhang Ling. At this, Zhang Ling let out a coquettish laugh. Si Kongxuan spoke up again, Brother Duan, please go and come quickly. All of our lives is in your hands. If there is some hold up, then none of us will live. Miss Zhang, how long does it take to get to your dad's place? Zhang Ling answered, 2 days if he hurries. I would say he would be back in 4 days at the most. Si Kongxuan felt a little better, but still urged, then go quickly. Zhang Ling spoke up, I'm going to tell Big Brother Duan how to go, all of you get away. I don't want any of you listening in. Si Kongxuan waved his hand and all the clan members walked away. Zhang Ling added, you too. Si Kongxuan thought to himself, once I'm cured, if I don't show you little baby a little something, then Si Kongxuan has mistaken himself for a man. But he got up and walked off. Zhang Ling sighed, Big Brother Duan, we have only met today, and already we have to be separated. Duan smiled and replied, it's only for 4 days, no big deal really. Zhang Ling stared at Duan Yu with the two big eyes of hers for a while. Finally, she said, first go see my mom, tell her about the situation and let her go talk to my dad. This way it'll be much easier. She then drew out directions to her home on the ground with her feet. As it turns out, Zhang Ling lives in a valley on the west shore of the Lankang River, not very far away. It is very well hidden and the entrance has several traps, switches, and secret codes. Without specific directions, it is very hard to find and enter the valley. Duan Yu always had a good memory and easily memorized all the direction that Zhang Ling gave him. After she finished, he said, all right, I'm going now. He turned around and started to walk. After about 10 steps or so, Zhang Ling suddenly remembered something and called out, hey! Come back here. Duan Yu asked, what? Zhang Ling said to him after he walked back, don't say that your surname is Duan, and especially don't say that your dad knows Wan Yangji. Because my dad might start getting ideas. Duan Yu smiled and thought that this little girl is just worrying too much, but it is all in good intentions towards him. So he just said all right, as he turned and walked off.